Hey guys, gonna do a quick little video, just playing 18 holes in a society. It's a one-rounder. Just sort of walk through, how I approach each shot. Been playing TGC since the first one, so
Hello,
the
ladies
game
and
sort of
gentlemen.
stayed
My
very
name is
similar
John
year to year.
McCarthy, and we are about to play some golf
So
here on
some
the
things I've
TGC
learned,
Network.
from previous games. Some things only
And
really
to the
apply to
folks
this
at
one,
home,
but
this
in
event will
general,
be one round
it's
and one round only.
just how I'm gonna
So,
play through my
without
rounds.
further ado,
So
let's get down
first
to that
off, I
first
use the
tee.
Masters Club. My bag I have is I go driver, 1-iron, 3-iron, and then I just go all the way down from there with all the wedges. I use the Masters clubs, but I would say just use whatever club set you can hit 90% plus of the time with a perfect tempo, and keep it inside this channel over here on the right. Like, with the practice swing, you click in your right analog stick, you can just mess around with it. But whatever you can hit, and you can keep it generally within that little cone with perfect tempo inside the cone. Just what you'll be hitting. And if you want to advance to Masters clubs or something higher, like from beginners to pros or pros to Masters, it's going to take a little bit of a learning curve. But if you're coming out here and just hitting everything crazy, off tempo, you're not going to be able to score well. Like, you've got to keep it consistent enough where your misses are small. So if you can do Masters, it's better because you're getting a little more distance. You're going to get more spin on your clubs. You'll be further down, so you'll be hitting, instead of hitting a 6-iron in, you can hit a 9-iron in. But just whatever you can hit, like I said, reliably is what you should be playing with. So start off, this hole 290, down 7, a little bit of wind. So with the wind for the driver, I usually for me, it's sort of a feel thing. This one, I just sort of know, it's sort of weird to say, but yeah, I just sort of know where it's going to end up. So I just push that a little this way, look at that marker. The center of the marker is where it's going to hit if you hit it absolutely perfectly without wind. So, and I got 285 a carry. If I carry it that far, it's going to run off the back of the green. And so I look, just sort of overview. Back of the green looks sort of rough. So I'd actually rather, if I can, end up just short of the green or maybe run it up. This 1-iron is not going to get there. So one trick you can do to sort of take some distance off a driver is, if you practice swinging it, you can, oh yeah, good point. I didn't put the link up for GW. But if you go to a practice swing, you can try to work on hitting a perfect 95% shot. You can take off like 15, 20 yards. The other thing you can do is if you sort of pause at the top of your backswing, instead of just going immediately, and then you go, that's very fast, you don't want that. But the slow backswing will take a little bit of distance off. I've seen it take about, I think my driver carry go from about 285 to like somewhere to the 260-ish range. So it's a variable. If you hit, if you look at the this line down here, and it's just barely into the slow territory, that's going to be different than if you're getting closer to like a very slow. So like the very slow is going to go a lot shorter than just barely into the slow. Here, let me post this link really quick. Alright, cool. So when I'm going to approach this hole, I'm going to go with a slow backswing driver ideally, and just see if I can try to slightly run up the front. If not, leave myself a little, if not, just leave myself a little flop or a pitch in. So got a slow, got perfect, pushed out, you see the little tops to the right, but it should just be fine, this bunker here. Yeah.
And now from the bunker.
So these kind of lies, normally in the bunkers I'm hitting flop shots, but because I'm so close to the lip here, I don't really have to carry it far. I'm probably just going to go with a chip. So if you go to like if you mess around with your chips, and you go to the putting and chipping area, you can sort of get an idea of what you see the carry at the top right, but what your rollouts are going to be. So off the top of my head, like a 9-yard carry off this lob wedge is usually going to roll out to about 12 to 13 yards. You go to a sand wedge, it's going to roll out to like 15. gaps, probably gonna, I think somewhere around the 18-yard range, but that's also going to depend a lot on your lie. So like I have an uphill lie right here, and then we're landing it. So landing a chip on a downhill lie like this, it's going to run out a lot further. So, you know, this one I'd say, because you're sitting uphill, it's probably going to end up probably carrying to about 7 yards, but then it's going to run out probably 4 or 5. So like I think this would be about a 12-yard chip. So I'm going to sort of pick my landing spot about 4 yards back. And each of these boxes, by the way, are 1 yard. So that's a good way to sort of guess where your ball is going to land and roll out to. So count 4 boxes back, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then sort of look at that break. So just looking at this, I think it's probably going to break about 2.5 boxes. So that's where I'm going to aim this thing. I'm just going to hit a full, maybe actually a little de-lofted, just want to go a little further. Comes in here pretty nice. Yeah, so about what I expected.
And this putt is for birdie.
And I'm not going to get into the putting yet, a 4-footer. We'll wait till we get a better putt than that.
And starting the round with a birdie. And now setting up for the par 4.
All right, look at the overview. If you quick tap circle for PS4 at least, Xbox, whatever the right button is, quick tap the circle for the overview, then quick tap triangle. That's where I do the really quick look at your landing spot. Pretty flat. Just gonna throw it out there. And so you can also hit, like I hit a fast on purpose here. If you hit fasts, a fast backswing gives you more distance.
135 yards.
A fast follow through gives you more distance as well, but it's going to pull it out to the left. But for a driver, that big fairway, just getting an extra 15 yards will get you, an extra club in, which will help you be able to stop the ball a little better. So, iron shots. This is going to be a lot of numbers, but this is the money maker right here. If you can get your irons, I mean, it's like real golf. Get your irons to stick close and give yourself, 3 to 6 footers all day, you're going to dominate. So the way I approach this, the first thing I look at is my lie. So here I have just a hair of it going left to right and a hair uphill. It's not going to affect it much, but for that, I'll just, give that like a little nudge over here to the left. And I'm just going to sort of ignore the uphill because that's not, the upslope on this shot's probably not going to do anything. Distance coming in, so you see the flag's 137, up 9 feet. In this game, I think it's pretty similar to real golf as well, but the math in this game works out to every 3 feet up or down is going to adjust the carry distance. So this is 9 feet up, so that flag's going to be playing 140 yards out. So we're playing 140 right now. Next thing to look at is the wind. So wind's at 9 miles an hour is crosswind. You've got to sort of figure with that angle coming at you, it's probably hurting closer to like 6 to 7 miles per hour. So for wind in the face, I use 1.5 yards per mile per hour. So if I'm going to say this is 6 miles into my face, it's going to be 9 yards of hurt. So we're at 140 plus 9, so at 149 right now. Then I'm going to, the way I go left and right is I do what's called like clicking. So you just sort of tap your D-pad just once, like, so this is a 5 clicks for me, is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And what I'll do is for left to right wind, I will click that many times left or right, depending on how much the wind's going to hurt. So I recenter on here. I had that 1 click to the left because of the my lie, and I'm probably going to push that guy, let's say 5 clicks to the right. And my number I had was 140 plus 9, so 149. And you look here, 149. It's probably gonna, on these kind of greens, probably gonna go about 3 yards of roll after it lands. So I'm gonna play about 147, 146. So my club here is 148 carry. Just gonna tap a little bit on the loft, and let's let it fly and see how it does.
And going with the 9 iron.
Looking pretty good coming in. Land a few yards short. And yeah, it rolls out only about a yard and a half, but
pretty sure
so leave yourself right there, an easy like 7-foot putt.
To go here.
For putting, the way I do it, same thing. I'm looking at these 1 yard grid lines, and I'm looking at how far these drips are coming left to right. and from there I'm assigning clicks. So the one behind my feet is going to affect it a little bit because I'm close to that one. It's barely moving left to right, so I'm going to maybe count that as negligible. And as the ball slows down, it's going to break more. So the one in front of me, I'd say is probably 1 click, and the one in front of that's probably about 2 clicks. And then as it's dying, it's probably going to need a little extra, so I'd say about 4 clicks total. So I'm going to click over 1, 2, 3, 4 times. And then if you cycle out of your putter and back in, it'll show you the distance it recommends you hit. I always add a little more because you don't want to leave putt short, especially if you got, the more break you play left to right, it's going to need a little extra distance to make sure it gets there. And if we're putting the same thing, just make sure you're hitting your putt straight because just ran the lip. If your putt line on the right is yanking, you're gonna be having bad feedback. So you pick the right line, but you hit the putt poorly, and
our
sort of is what it is.
Today is currently at 11 under.
All right, come back in, par 3.
Tee off on this
so
par 3.
Here we got the wind to the back. For winds to the back, I'm playing it 1 yard shorter per yard helping. So this 9-mile-an-hour wind, instead of playing 127, I'm playing it at 118. It's going to run a little more just because you got the wind to your back. It's going to hop before it hop further before it stops. So 118 is the flag. I'd probably play this at like 116. So if you look at the loft box here, in general, for your clubs from like a lob wedge all the way up to probably like a 6 iron, a fully lofted in the box is going to give you about somewhere like 8 to 10 yards taking it off. So I'm trying to take off 6 yards. I'm going to go about just a little over halfway up from where it starts. So be right around here. And then as you notice, if you look in the bottom right, as you loft it, you're going to lose some of that channel. It's going to get a little tougher to make hit the shot perfectly straight. So if you're trying to go all the way up to the top, it's going to be really hard to hit that inside the cone still. So sometimes it's better to de-loft a club over trying to loft it all the way up. So I pulled out a little left, but actually it's working its way over pretty good.
It's heading for the green here.
Yep.
And now he's going to be digging that putter out.
All right.
And this putt's for birdie.
So here we go, a little more break to this one. So one thing also to keep in mind is always look at the top right here. So where it says green 100%, 173 feet, the 173 is your green speed. So I think like a 160-ish green speed is just sort of a normal speed. 173 is more of like a fast green. The max is 187, so that's your very fast. And the slowest I've really ever seen them is like 135s to 144s. So only thing keep in mind for that is the faster the green speeds, you're gonna have to hit the putts a little lighter, and it's gonna break a lot more. So 173s, I'll probably give it some of these numbers a little higher. So instead of like looking at these drip lines here, the one in front of me I'd say is normally a 3 to 4 clicker. I'll err on the side of the 4 instead. So 4 clicks for that one. And these 2 in front, I'd probably say are, you can also zoom down if you want to get a closer look. You do a triangle, and then, circled and triangle. And you can use this camera and worm your way around. And just sort of look at these lines a little closer. So, I'd say it's probably 4 clicks for the first one, 5 for the second one, and then probably 5 more for the last one. So we're at 14 clicks. So I'm just going to tap my D-pad 14 times over. And this is like one of those things, like each person's going to tap their D-pad a little differently. So you sort of got to find your own numbers for how you're reading these lines. Okay. And so that's 14 over. And since they're a little faster, I'm just going to give them 1 extra click so I can stay closer to the high side of the hole. And then cycle out the club back in for your distance. Since this is downhill 1, I'm just going to leave it right there at 10 feet and not give it extra speed. Yep, glad we got a little extra clicks. It actually broke a little more than I thought.
And he is moving up on the leaderboard after that hole.
All right, got some real wind here.
4th hole.
So 17. If you want to try clicking over the wind on this one for the driver, I'd say maybe give it about a little over half. So for 17 miles, I'd probably give it like 10 clicks over to the right. And you can also, I've got a lot of players I know that will, instead of trying to click, adjust their where they're aiming left and right, they'll try to fade and draw against the wind. I did that a lot back in like TGC 1, but with how hard it is to swing the master clubs, I mean, if you look at the channel, if you try to, when you adjust this line, it gets smaller, and you're just going to get a lot more misses. So I prefer just keeping the channel as big as possible with your clubs and just adjusting left and right instead. Unintentional fast there, pulls to the left. You see that swing line was actually to the left as well.
Pleased with himself after that.
Push that way out to the
and
left.
He is deep in the rough here for
but
this
it's
next
par
one,
5 here. I can just slam a club. Instead of going for the green, which I'm not gonna be able to get with these lies. That top right corner, 68 to 75%. With that wind in the face, there's no way I'm gonna get there. So, this ball, instead of going 194, it's gonna carry like 160, 150 something with the that wind. So I'll probably get one more club. Just go ahead and hit it. Yeah. And I'm fine being a little further back. So, you get more of a full shot. You can stop the ball as opposed to trying to get into pitch distance. All right. So this one, 86 yards in, down 6. So 6 divided by 3 is 2. So it's playing 84 yards. You've got this stance. It's going to be, going left to right a little more. I'm going to click over 3 times for this sort of, left to right turn. So 1, 2, 3. I start with my lie first. Get my number. 86 minus 2 is 84. And then for the wind, it's going to be about 1.5 times coming into it. So that's probably because that angle probably going to be about 10 mile an hour hertz, so 15. So you got 84 plus 15, 99. Man, it's a tough yardage because if you deal off this club, you don't want to land short and get down this mound. So I'd actually rather go a little longer and just try to loft this guy up to hit this guy maybe like 104 yards. It might go by the hole, and then also do my left to right wind adjustment. So probably hurting about 8 left to right, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm just gonna go ahead and hit it. Let's see how we do. And so this one's probably gonna go long, because I'm not trying to be short of this hole and pull it back.
This could be long.
That's fine. Got a little backspin out of it. But this way you're going to get a flatter putt and have a much better chance than leave yourself that weird, be way down there and trying to come up the hill. So look at these lines. I'd say probably, the closer you are to this line, right here behind your putt guy, the closer you are to it, the more it's going to affect it. If you're way up here, your ball's not going to be affected by this line as much. It's just sort of the average of the two. So that line back there, I'm going to say is 4. The one in front, 4. So 8 plus 4, 12. And then those last 2 lines are probably both 5s. So that 4, 4, 4, 12 plus 10, 22 clicks. And then it being down 2, you're going to hit a little shorter. So every time I take a yard or a foot off for it being shorter, I'm going to add 2, add a click in that direction. So I'm at 22 clicks this way. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 20, 1, 2. And I'm probably going to hit this about 3 feet shorter. So I'm going to go over 3 more times. And so faster greens, I'm just going to give it a few more just so I can try to stay on the high side and just drip it over the edge. Go back and forth between your clubs to get the recommended distance to hit it. Just barely missed it.
Misses. And this putt's for par.
Same thing here. I mean, these you can sort of eyeball sometimes too, because it's not much break, but if you really want to, you can look at the lines and do the same thing. So the one behind's a 2, for me at least, it's a 2, the one in front's a 3, so 5 clicks over. And I'll hit these a little more firm as well.
And a nice putt.
You don't need to dive in from 5 feet, I mean, like real golf.
And that hole has led to him falling down on the leaderboard here. And setting up for this next tee off. The wind could be an issue here. Let's see.
Throw it out there, got the fast roll extra distance.
And 180 yards out.
Alright, so you got 180. A little bit, right to left. Up 3, so playing 183. That wind's, 12 hertz. So I'm going to click over about, 12 hertz of left to right. Then move over 12. Alright, so it's 182, and then it's probably about, 5 yards of hurt times 1.5, 7.5, so it's playing like a 189 shot. And I'm going to look really quick to see where I want to land at. 189 is the flag. So these longer irons are going to come in a little hotter. The wind in the face is going to slow it down some, but I'm probably going to play this at like 184. Look at that, it's a 183 club, so I'm just going to give it a tap at D-loft. And try to hit the shot in there.
And here's the 6 iron.
Yep, so
very
needed
well
a little bit more
played,
to the left for the wind, but
for
the most part,
nice eagle
pretty good shot there.
here.
Double breaker, it's same thing for clicking. You just assign a number to each one and then subtract. So your first 2 are probably 1 each. So you have 2 clicks going right to left and then 1 click coming back left to right. So it'd be essentially 1 click over to your right. Give it a little extra speed just so it gets there.
And the eagle putt drops. And moving on to the 6th here.
Alright, 182. Look at the green first. I mean, you can see these, like, it's always, you need to be looking at the greens ahead of time just to make sure that there's no sort of tricks to them. Like this guy, you're going to be coming with a long iron. It's downhill. You see these yellows here. It's going to come in very hot. So I'm going to try to almost land this right at the front of the green and just funnel it down the hole. So with this break here, I'm going to start myself off by trying to think my landing area, which is probably going to be, you know, right around here. So I'm going to set my line there. I'm going to count that out. So it's 183 to the pin. And count backwards each of these squares to see what number I'm going to be playing the pin at. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 yards back. So instead of 183, I'll be playing at 171 before I do my wind adjustments. Click this over about 16 times. Ooh, man, that wind is hurting a lot. That's probably going to be about, yes, 171, and that wind's probably hurting about, let's say 7 to 8 miles an hour. So we'll say 8 times 1.5, so 12. So we're at 171 plus 12, 183. Yeah, perfect for this club. Don't even have to adjust it with the loft or anything. And I got that unintentional fast there. So it's going to pull it to the left, go further. It's, yeah, just sort of is what it is sometimes with the master clubs. You know, if you can hit perfect straight all the time, and you're running the numbers, you're going to just tear the leaderboard up. But you're going to have misses, so that's, you know, it's golf. This guy, 15 yards out, coming out of the heavy rough, a lot less spin. It's going to carry less, but roll further. You know, that 9 normally is 12 yards. If you're at 100% lie, it's probably going to carry about 6 yards, roll at 3 to 4, so that'd be like a 10-yard club. This is probably like a 12. This may be like a 13 to 15-yard club. But, you know, it's sort of, it doesn't really run away too much once you get to the pin. Because, you know, you see these drip lines, it's running away, but then it starts running back a little bit. So I'm just going to pick my landing spot, you know, which is going to be about 6 yards back. And just give this a full shot. Yeah, like out of the heavy rough, you know, you gotta just be happy with getting inside of 8-10 feet. So I'm gonna look at these lines a little closer, because you know it's 8-foot grinder. Assign some numbers, so like you know, there's probably a 4 plus a 5, so 9 clicks. Give it 1 or 2 extra, stay on the high side. Just hit this putt. Yep.
And finishing this hole out with a solid putt. And our leader currently at 14 under for the day. And next up is a par 4, folks.
Pretty straightforward fairways here. Not too much trickery going on.
It's looking like it's heading into the fairway.
Sometimes you have to lay back a little bit and, you know, a shorter club, or try that trick where you hit a slow backswing purposely on a drive or a driver.
Yards out.
These fairways have just been pretty open. Just slap the driver out there and. All right, so we got the iron numbers. So I'm going to start off my lie. Probably give that about 3 clicks left to right, 'cause just you know the drip line's coming. And then 28 divided by 3, so you've got 9 yards extra. That's playing at 154 or 155 versus 146. So 155. Look at the green. It's downhill, so it's definitely going to roll out more. And then click over for the wind. So uphill, the ball's going to be in the air, not quite as not quite as long as a normal shot, just because the angle coming in, it's going to just physics. So I'm going to click this over. Instead of doing like a 12 like I normally do, I'm just going to do 11, maybe 10. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 154, it's probably hurting about 4 miles an hour. So 4 times 1.5, you're at 6. You're at 155 plus 6, 161. And then with this green here, the way it's running down, it's probably going to roll out a solid 5-6 yards. So instead of 161, I'm going to go 155. And you can either deal off this guy, down to about here, or I prefer to lofting up a club just to get a little more spin out of it. They're both going to be pretty similar shots. It just depends on which one we're comfortable with. I prefer lofting up whenever I can, just because it tends to give it a little more spin as well.
Here's an 8
See
iron.
that swing line pushed out way to the right. Not sure you had the right number there because it seemed to fly a lot further than I thought.
And this putt is for birdie.
All right, so longer putt here. So longer putts, when it comes off the club face, it's coming off the putter face. It's going to be traveling a lot faster, and the putt around your feet is going to matter a hell of a lot less than the break near the hole. So since these lines are barely even moving, I'm not really going to start assigning values to these. Like maybe all of those combined is 1 click over to the left. And then I'll look at these lines as you're getting to the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 yards. I mean, long putt, you're also lagging, but you just want to give it a chance as well. So 1 click to start, and then, right here, 1 more click, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, maybe like 15 clicks. That seems a little much, just based on how fast I'm going to be hitting it. I'm going to say maybe 13 clicks. For these longer putts, I'm putting it so far up to the left, I'm going to give this like an extra 2 feet. I don't mind being 4 feet by, just give it a chance to run in. Since I'm going faster, I'm going to move it over a little bit, take a little less break out of it. And then for speed, we haven't really gotten to this yet. For speed, that marker line that you see up there, it says 54 feet right now, 53. The way HB's explained it is you're going to hit the putt, the speed's going to matter each time how far you hit it, but if you hit approximately around that number, it's going to sort of snap your distance into that, to 54 feet. So you hit a putt that's like normally be 49 feet speed-wise, it's going to snap that into 54. If you hit a putt that's going to be 20 feet, it's not going to matter. You're going to hit 20 feet. And for speed in general, though, you can either sort of look and just sort of time how far back you're going, or look at the animation to figure out how far you're doing it. For me, I sort of use like a metronome system. It's like I don't even know what the beat per minute would be, but it's like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 is 10 feet, 2 is 20 feet, 3 is getting closer to like 35 feet, and 4 is like 50 to 55 feet. So I'm just going to metronome count this back to about a 3.5. 1, 2, 3, yeah, right there. 1, 2, 3, hit it. And actually, it might be closer to 4.
And about
But
7 feet to go here.
That's just sort of how I do with the speed. You go to the putting green area and just play around with your speed to get an idea. Count these lines out. Say a 3 plus a 4 plus a 4. We're at 10 clicks over. 1 more to sit on the high side.
And that putt will drop for par. And after that one, 4 under is the score for the day. And now setting up for the next par 4 hole.
Love these. So I'm just taking a quick scout cam to sort of see the layout coming in. You see you have these sort of moguls. If you can land on a downslope past this, it's running down towards the green. So if you try to fly it there, it's gonna run forever, especially because this green is running, you know, front to back. So I'm gonna try to take a 1-iron here instead of a driver. Right, so it's playing 33 divided by 3 is 11, 277. That wind probably 280. And then if you do a circle and then right bumper, you can see what it's playing to the front. So it's playing 270 minus 11, 259. And you can see this 1-iron's 234. If I get a fast, I can probably get that thing to about 245. That wind's going to hurt, but it's probably still going to get out 240. So I'm going to play this over. The 1-iron, the wind's going to affect it less just because lower trajectory in the air less. 6, 7, maybe 7 clicks. But then actually it's a fast, so it's going to pull it to the left. So I'm just going to keep that right there center. We'll see how it ends up doing. Got the fast. You see my swing line I actually pushed out to the right though, so this is why this thing is tailing hard to the right, plus that wind also pushing it that way. Take a little cart path action, and now have a fun shot in. So, scout cam it, sort of see where you want to land this thing. It's fairly, there's not much slope coming in. You actually have a little backstop right there too, if you go too far past the hole. So for flops, tempo's everything. If you get a fast on a flop, or mostly a fast on a flop, but also a slow, it's going to really mess with the yardages. The wind for flops doesn't really seem to affect it much. 16 miles an hour, I mean, it's probably going to take 3 or 4 yards off. So 74%, 70% of 36. What's that? About 25 yards. So this would probably, you know, end up carrying about 21. And if I count back where I want to land this thing, 37 yards playing, probably playing 40 with the wind, 41 with the wind. So count back 40, 39, 38, 37, 36, 35, 34. I probably want to fly that thing 33, 32 yards. I think it's going to run out a good bit with the coming out the heavy rough here, no spin. So a 42 carry, you know, I just sort of average out. Sometimes I run a calculator, sometimes just sort of quick math in my head, but since I'm running a video, I'll actually run the calculation here on my phone. A 42 is going to go 30 yards. It's a little short of where I wanted to go, so I'm just going to de-loft it a few clicks. That channel is very, very shallow. It's unlikely I'm going to hit this thing inside the channel, but as long as you're hitting it fairly straight still around that channel, you're going to get, you know, a pretty close to where you want result, especially you know, you're scrambling here to get up and down for a birdie. It's just, you'd rather get it onto the green speed-wise than hit an absolutely perfect distance, but way far from the hole. Flies a lot further than I thought. It's going to run past the hole for sure. Oh, actually, no. Ow. I got the faster. You saw the on the swing, so it carried a lot further, but I guess it just, for whatever reason, had some spin on that thing. Usually, have a heavy rough. Those 42-yard flops will run forever.
And now we're
it might just be the conditions here with softer greens.
Under today. And now the ninth
take a lucky
hole.
break there. Let's see. It may be drivable par 4. Oh, no thank you. You look at that's why the scout count's important. If you want to drive this thing, you go for it, and then you're going to run to the front of the green, and you're hit this heavy rough, maybe go to the this cart path. If you look at this, there's no red areas, there's no out of bounds, so you're not going to lose a shot really, but that would not be a fun shot coming back that way. So I'm just going to, you know, lay back to a probably even a 3-iron because that wind's going to be helping it downhill. Leave myself a little pitch in. Yeah, I love going for the greens whenever I can, but like you're not stopping a driver for that tailwind. All right, here we finally got some upslope on our lie that will affect it. So first, look at the pin distance. 14 divided by 3, right about 5. So it's playing 62 yards. With this red upslope, probably going to add an extra 2-3 yards. So instead of 62 yards to the pin, I'm going to say 65 yards. Pitches run a little further, so I'm going to give it about 5 yards of run. Actually, more than that, 'cause this is coming downhill. I'm gonna actually try to land this thing right here on the collar. So I said 63, or 65 is what I said. 52 plus 3, yeah. 62 plus 3, 65. 64, 63, 62, 61, 60, 59, 58, 57. So actually, yeah, hitting this thing stock is probably the perfect number. You just gotta adjust for the wind. For pitches, I like to give it about, let's say about 3/4 of what the wind says. So instead of going over, let's say like 13 to 14 for this one, I'm gonna give it over about 9. 9 clicks over. And then just because I see this thing's running right to left, and there's also, you don't want to miss it far, far left, I'm going to just go a little, or, you know, be a downhill putt, but I'd rather have a safe downhill putt than go off the green with a bad pitch. Flew a little further than I thought, but, I mean, yeah, it ran out where I thought it would.
This one's about 10 feet
If I would have
away.
landed a little shorter than perfect, it just flew a little more. Actually, coming uphill, it may have just, that might be the difference as opposed to being flat. So look at these lines of the putt. Assign them numbers. I'm going to say, don't behind me. You know, that would normally be like a 5, but since I'm only halfway in this line, I'm going to count it as a 3 instead. So I'm going to say it's a 3 plus a 5 plus a 6 plus a 6. So that 8 plus 12, so 20 clicks. Give it a little extra distance. Click 1 or 2 more times just to keep it above the hole. Yep, there we go.
And that
Nice little up
putt
and
will
down for
drop
bird.
birdie. And after that hole, 6 under.
So this society, man, it's, this is Pure Aces Dribbly Tour. They do one round, 1 day events every day. There's a lot of really good players, like Blue Orphe up top. He's one of the top guys on TGC tours. Dave EMC's up there. Gnarly Panda's up there. There's a lot of really good players that play the society.
And now setting
So if you
up
want to, you know,
for the par
dip your
4
toes in,
tee
play some
off.
of the best guys. It's a fun society to play. It's very, very, very tough to win it though, because like I said, you probably have 20 to 30 of the guys in the top 50 in the world that run the society. Yeah, this one, you just gotta look at your landing zones. Obviously, you want to land it here, not the heavy rough. And just check the green out, make sure there's nothing tricky going on now. So I don't mind getting closer. So just hit this stock 1 iron.
Well, so far so good for this one.
And then run some approach math.
And setting up this shot below
All
the
right.
hole.
So 47 divided by 3, you've got about 16 yards. So that's going to be playing at 115. This upslope here is going to hurt us probably like 1-2 yards. So 115, let's say it's 117. These uphill ones are not, you can take a few yards off just because the trajectory coming in, it's going to land a little shorter. So instead of it playing, I said what? It's hard to remember all these numbers. I'm talking 115 to 117. I'm going to play it like, let's say a 114 to the pin. Green's pretty flat actually coming into you, so I'm going to keep that number to like maybe 2 yards of run. So, yeah, we're doing it one more time. 115 to 117, said 114 minus 2, 112. Okay, then click over for the wind. Uphill, I'm not going to go as far, so I'm going to say it's probably 8 clicks over. And to get to 112, you can either de-loft this guy here, or loft up this almost all the way to the top. I'd rather keep my swing channel as big as possible, so I'm going to just, you know, I think if you de-loft this all the way, you probably get 15 yards, so just sort of eyeball, you know, what you think 4 yards is there. I think probably right, it's about right around here. And this sort of thing, you go to the driving range and play with it in the game. They have that driving range. You can pick one of the 100-yard markers and just loft and de-loft clubs and sort of see how much it's getting affected by that. I hit a fast unintentionally.
And
It's going to be a little past the hole,
green.
but should be fairly good still. Oh, look at that spin. Yeah, normally, I think these greens are
This one's about
soft.
3
So
feet from
some of
the
these things
cup.
are coming in a little softer than I'm used to. Going to assign the number behind me, about half is normal, so that's a 6, that's a 3. One in front of me is a 4, so got 7 clicks over. But I mean, it's it's so close, I'm not really going to put it much outside the hole and just slam it to the back of the cup. Ooh, didn't really slam it, did I? I'll see my putting line to the right, pulled to the left, so two things working against me there. Still went in.
And now the 11th hole.
Alright, pretty straightaway fairway again. Pushed to the right, had a fast though, sort of counteracted, but still, you know, the fast ther's hurting me. My tempo is not great right now. Might be this drink I have next to me. Alright, so it's playing 42. That wind with the flop, maybe it's going to help a little bit, so let's say it's playing 38. The uphill though, add an extra 3 yards, so let's say back to 41 again. Like, it's a lot of things counteracting each other. That 80%-ish of 42, you know, you're going to get to right around 32 yards, which, you count that 42, 41, 40, 39, 38, 37, 36, 35, 34, it's going to be right at the bottom of my screen here. That's my estimated where I think it's going to land. With it being a heavy rough, I think it's going to run further, but I've seen these greens so far have been pretty receptive, so I'm actually going to just deal off this a little bit more. Give it a few clicks for that wind, and a few more for that right to left lie, and try my best to hit a flop perfect. This is one of those things you can go to practice here, this practice swing, clicking the right trigger, and work on these things to make sure you're hitting a perfect. That's fast perfect's going to go further. Fast very slow, that's not very good either. There you go, that felt good. Yep, perfect. Actually, mostly inside the line too. Should have used that one. Fast perfect's going to go a little further, but actually landed pretty good. Now, we missed off a 13-footer here. Not too bad.
Yes, for the birdie.
8 foot, closer than I thought. Assign these numbers, or assign these little drip lines numbers. I'm going to say 3, 4, 4. You know, this is one of those things you just gotta, as you play, you'll sort of figure out what your own numbers look like based on how fast you're moving. So 3, 4, 4 to 11 clicks for me. Give it a little extra distance, make sure it gets there. One extra clip to kick on the high side. Oh, and it's low.
Ooh,
man.
And, just doesn't
I guess instead of 3,
want
4, 4, it's probably like a
This one's about 2 feet from the cup.
4, 5, 5. Unfortunate. Should be a birdie there. So that flop just running a little further than I thought, and just, you know.
And they are sitting
Not
at
hitting a good
7
putt.
under par for the event.
In the society,
And now we
on this
find
course is
ourselves
a
in the
fairly
12th.
easy one for the society. You're going to have to shoot. I mean, you'd probably need a 16 to 18 under to top 1 or 2 this thing. Those guys at the top are very, very good, and when you have so many of the top guys playing the same society, somebody's going to shoot absolute lights out. Alright, 27 down, divided by 3, it's 9, so playing 156. That 13 miles an hour wind behind you, since it's going downhill, is actually going to make it, the ball's going to be in the air longer, so I'd actually say it's probably going to be about 14 miles an hour of help. So you're from 156 to 142 to the pin. With that tailwind, it's definitely going to run a good bit. I actually like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I like, you know, land it right here at the bottom of my screen. That 136 club would be absolutely perfect. And the wind's pushing it to the right. The green is working it back to the left. So I just like sort of hitting this thing right at it and letting the wind and the green sort of counteract each other. Hit that one pretty good.
Wedge.
Little to the right, but there's that slope right there. It's just going to peel it over and see if it stops. Nice. Oh, go in. Yeah, perfect.
I think he'll like that. And this putt is for birdie.
It's one of those things, yeah. If you look at the green too, you want to miss on that hill because it'll push it over. You'd rather miss high and have it work its way down.
And as we check the scores, our leader currently sitting at 16 under. And time for the 13th here.
Alright, this is a fun little fairway. It's a par 5, so par 5s I like to get really aggressive just because with the Masters clubs, if you can get aggressive, you can get there in 2 a lot of times, and having eagle putts is just massive. So let's figure out a way to do this. Look at this. I mean, it's just a massive dogleg left. You're not getting over those trees. I really don't think you will. So use the shot shaper here to sort of move it right to left and draw this ball in. I'm going to keep it close to those trees, but far enough away so when I start working it, it's not going to clip those tree branches. And I'm going to hit it fast, give it a little more power, and also a little more left. And I think that will hopefully, make sure it's not running towards those trees. No, it's actually running away, so I think that's the way to play it. And if I get in the heavy rough, it's a par 5, you got a recovery shot to get yourself leave yourself a wedge in. Peeling, didn't give it enough. Oh, wow. Oh, cart path. Yikes. Oh, really short par 5, but this is a fun shot. Look at my camera, look at my guy. Here, switch down to like a putter, so I can sort of get the scout cam on him and sort of see if those branches are in my way. Which, yeah, I mean, if I hit any sort of lofted club, that's gonna run right into those things. So normally math would dictate that's a 35 divided by 3, 12, which is 133, plus insanely severe upslope. It's probably going to add about 8 to 10 yards. So you're looking at like a 142 normally. But if I hit a club that's going to fly 142, this 8 iron, it's going to hit those branches. It's going to be short. I think I'm just going to have to swing it anyways, but give it one extra club and just try to negate some of that lost distance. And this is just sort of a throw it out there and pray sort of thing. And if I get on the green, I love it. If I don't, that's what the short game is for. Yeah, did not hit a thing. Normally you can hear that when it hits a tree branch. You'll hear a little rustling sound. I guess that what I hit 6 iron there, actually got a little lower, missed it. So flew a little further than I thought, but that's fine. So this is very scoreable up and down right here. 15 yards. You've got the heavy rough, less spin, coming into a downslope. I'm going to just land this as soft as I can with my 9. This is the shortest chip you have. I'm laying it right here stock. I'm going to click over about 4 times for the this lie going left to right. And then a few more times just for this green breaking left to right as well. Just hit this shot full, perfect. Let's see if it runs all the way there. Yep. Perfect number, actually.
Probably gonna like that.
I had a fast in the chip. I noticed for the chipping, your tempo doesn't matter nearly as much as like a flop, a pitch, or a full shot. If anything, you're just going to the downswing on a chip tempo is going to affect more, like you're going to pull the ball on a faster, push it out on a slow, and you're trying to score on a chip that's going to affect it. So, perfect's great for getting it straight, but in terms of speed, it's not much different. Wide open fairway. I'm actually just going to work my tempo right now and try to get a perfect as opposed to the fast I was doing earlier.
And just
there we go. That's a great swing.
This drive.
I need to do that swing on my approaches so I can get a little closer. And I did not look at that closely enough. Ran out to the white rough. Back-to-back par 5s though. Alright, so 26 divided by 3. You've got just about 9, so it's playing 250 on the number, plus that wind. With these low clubs, it's probably going to affect about 6, so it's playing like 256. Hit circle, right bumper. The front's playing at 240 minus about 25 divided by 3, 8, so 232. Light rough, I mean, those numbers, it looks like this club's going to fly about 231, so I think this is just a perfect club for that shot. Make sure that tree's not, yeah, it's absolutely in my way. So push it over to the right a little bit, draw it in a little bit, hit the shot. Maybe a little more draw. Heavy rough again. I like that number a lot though. Just that when you draw it in, it's going to take a little bit of speed off. Alright, downhill, flop, definitely going to make it fly a little further. So it's playing 35 minus the 2, 33. I'm going to say with this downhill lie, it's probably placing closer to 30, 29. So I'm going to pick a landing zone, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22. I'm going to say 22 yards, so right around here on the bottom of my screen is my landing zone. And quick math, you know, that lie at the top right corner, 30 times point, let's say about 77%, that's 23 yards. That's right around what I was looking for. Move it over a little for that wind, let it fly. So try perfect often with the flops as you can, because it's the tempo and flops greatly affects it. And as I say that, I hit a fast slow, which sort of counteract each other. Obviously, perfect's much preferred. Got a little lucky there that my tempo was terrible, but in opposite direction, so it helped me out. Look at those three lines that are going right to left. I'm going to say combined. There may be a 2 click, and the one that's not doing, I mean, that line's barely moving, so I'm going to say that's 2 clicks to the high side. I'm not giving this hole away, though, just because, I mean, barely moving. So, you know, get your number, click back in and out of the putter, give it a little extra distance. And like my metronome counting here is like a 1-2 count. So 1, 2, hit.
Finishing this hole with a solid putt. All right, 10 under is the score after that.
All right, score going right now. 10 under is definitely solid, but like the society is a lot of really good players, so it's not going to place top 5 most likely. So yeah, this is a fun fairway. You can see it's coming heavily from the right to the left, especially as you get closer to this left side. So I'm going to try to land this thing as close as I can to this right fringe, and just have it work its way left a little bit. So look at this green really quick. Looks fine, pretty straightforward. So if I put it here, that wind's going to push it out to the right. But if I double fast this thing, I think it's going to be just enough where the double fast is going to negate the wind, and it's going to land right around there. And I'm sort of hoping that tailwind plus double fast, I have maybe a chance to hit this downslope and get myself to like a flop distance on this hole. You know, it's sort of high risk play, but I'm trying to make some scoring happen. So double fasted it. Wind's actually pushing it more. Gets that cart path maybe and hop. No. Alright.
He's probably not that happy about that one.
Alright. This makes for some fun math right here. So 22 feet down, divide that by 3. You got 7 yards off, so that's playing about 123 yards. That wind's probably helping it, let's say about 4 yards. So 123 minus 4, it's playing 119. Coming out of the heavy rough, it's going to run a little further, so I'm going to say flag's playing 119, so 118, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13? Yeah, 114, 113. So figure out what club's going to fly that distance. I think this one's probably right about the number. I'll run my calculator on just to double check. 136 times about 0.84, 114. Yeah, so that's perfect. Click this over about, I'd say 8 times with the wind. Since it's downhill about 9 times. Green's pretty straight, so I don't really have to worry about that. And just hit a good tempo straight shot. Yeah, a little push on it.
And I think you'll like
that.
that.
I think straight might have been in the hole.
About 5 feet to
distance.
go here.
Count my lines out here. I'm going to say it's a 4 plus a 4, it's 8. And then it's down 2, so I'm going to put that up to a 10. Give it 1 extra click, just keep it high. I'm just going to give it a little bit extra distance because it's so close to make sure you can get it back of the cup here.
And that one goes in for the bird.
Yeah, definitely take a birdie out all day out of the heavy rough though. So run those approach numbers, you can usually get pretty close to the hole.
Par 4.
Alright, drivable par 4. It's running a little bit front to back, but nothing too severe. And actually, it slows down towards the back of the green. So it's 268. playing 258 with that down about 30 feet. That wind's probably going to hurt, say about 10 miles an hour for these longer irons or driver. So instead of it being 258, like 268, so the wind and the downslope sort of gauge each other. 268. I don't have any club that's going to fly 268. 234 double facet might make it to like 245. Driver's 285. So I'm going to go back to that trick where I pull the driver back. I sort of pause at the top and get a purposely slow backswing and take about 10% off, and it should fly about 250-ish. So it's that slow backswing just a little bit outside the channel at the bottom. Pushed it a little bit. But yeah, it's a pretty good shot. Keeps running because that green's head back to front.
And you don't see
but
someone
par 4, you never
drive
complain.
the green
You gotta putt it
on
eagle.
this par 4 every day.
Yeah.
That was beautifully
These
done.
lines closer to my feet, not going to affect me too much because it's a longer putt. So I'm going to actually look, probably these last 5 yards here. Assign them some values. So I'm going to say, that's probably a 1, 2, 2, and a 3. So that's about 8 clicks over. Cycle out, cycle back in for your HB approved distance. Give it a few extra feet because you're putting it outside the hole, and it's going to need a few extra feet to make sure it gets there. Don't leave the eagle putt short. I'm actually going to kick a little bit over just because at my feet it looks like I should bring a little more than I thought. So play at 50. Metronome count is going to be about 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, right there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hit it. Have that slope start. Oh my god, how did I leave that short?
And this one's for birdie.
My counting's a little off right now. Or maybe I just wanted to show you how to hit a tricky 10-footer putt. Alright, assign some values. Say 2 behind, 3 in front. It's 5 plus a 4 plus a 6. So 5 plus, let's say, 2, 3, 4. It's 9 plus 6, 15 clicks. Give it a little extra distance. An extra click to stay on the high side of the hole. 1, 2 is my count. This time I'm going to count properly and make sure I actually hit my number. 1, 2. And it's low. Man. Dustin Johnson right here. Drive the green in 3-putt.
And tapping it in for the par.
That was a severely unfortunate first putt there.
Birdies for him today on that scorecard of his. Okay, and moving on to the 17th
115
now.
Down 49. So 49 divided by 3. You've got about 16 yards. So it's playing at 99 yards. A little tiny green here. That wind, left to right, I'm going to say it's hurting normally about 10 left to right. Because it's downhill 16 yards, it's probably actually, instead of being 10, probably closer to 13. So count my 13 clicks to the left as the wind's slightly changing on me, so the math's already messed up. It's probably, that angle, that's probably about 8 miles an hour of hurt, I would say. Times 1.5 is, you got 12 right there. But downhill, it's going to be even more. So instead of 12 yards, I'm going to say it's about 14 yards of hurt. So we had 99 yards originally, plus 14. We're at 113 now. That pin, I count out. I'm looking over to the right side because I already have my line here. I'm probably going to count out about 3 yards. I lost all my numbers. 99 plus, 14. Okay, well, it's 115. Lay at 112. It's a 108 club. I'm just going to de-loft this down to, probably right around the bottom of this D, probably right around the 112 number. And then all those numbers I did, this wind has changed direction drastically. Drastically enough that I just want to redo it really quick. I'm not going to say something out loud so I can do it fast though. So my new number I have is 116. Which I actually prefer lofting this up for a 116 shot. Because the wind was whipping around as I was talking it out.
And I think this is looking a bit long.
Maybe the
Well,
112.
turns out that one is
114 is a
safely
better
on the
number.
green. And from 24 feet away.
Yeah, can't always be perfect on it. The math usually works out pretty well, but you sometimes got to toy with it a little bit. So count out my putt lines. I was going to say 3 plus 3, that's 6 plus 4, 10, 5, 15, 6, 21, 6, 27, 7, 34. Oh man, 41 clicks is my number. 7 more at the end. 41. Alright, this one, since, you know, it's suggesting 28 feet, but that's supposed to straight line, no break. I'm playing this thing so far out to the right, I'm going to need to give it an extra probably 3 feet. And then 1, 2, 3 is my count for this. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I needed to give that even more distance. It swung in pretty well. I need to put that putt line maybe 5 feet further.
Solid putt. And as we check the leaderboard here, our current leader is sitting at 18 under par.
Yeah, that leaderboard society is pretty sick, some of these players. Gnarly at 18 under through 18.
And now, teeing up for the final hole of the round.
Alright, last hole. Fairway's working right to left, so keep it out here on the left side. With that wind, a little further left. Just double check the green, make sure I don't need like a full shot in. And now, leaving a pitch in's fine there, because it's, you don't want to leave yourself a full shot if you have like right behind the green. It's severely running away, and you've got to land it soft. Like, if down here it's running away from you, and back here it's running the other way, you don't want to be getting as close as you can. So you need a full shot with some spin. But since these greens have been pretty straightforward, I'm just hitting my driver up as far as I can. Leave myself as short as possible club.
Well, this one's looking like it's in the
just
fairway.
Give myself some, tap-in birdies and hole-up potential. All right, so 68 up 8, that's 3, so 71. So I'm saying it's about playing. The pitches run out a good bit, so I'm gonna say I'm probably gonna give it about 5-6 yards of run out. So 71. So I'm playing 66. And then this thing, if you look at the screen, it's definitely working right to left. You don't want to go down this tier because that red there, it's running all the way off the green for sure. So I'm going to say about 4 clicks for that wind there for the pitch. Maybe 5. And then I'm going to put this thing, I'm actually going to try to ride this little yellow into the hole. Just so, I don't want to put it too high, that's going to pick up speed and go down to the next yellow, but I'm going to add this thing an extra few clicks just to utilize some of that slope. And I said 66, so 63 pitch for me and a 66. D-loft this or loft this, dealer's choice. Hit a pretty good tempo shot. Flew a little further than I thought, but landed nice and soft. So, yep.
I think you'll
nice
like
little
that.
easy birdie putt for the 18th
This next
hole.
putt for a
Count my
final
lines.
round
I'm gonna say
score of
1 plus a
60.
2. So 3 clicks over. A little extra speed. Just back of the cut.
And that one will go for birdie.
There we go. That is sort of my thought process for how I approach all my driver, irons, flops, pitches. I think it's all there, so it's pretty good round. 12 under. So normally a very good score in this society on a fairly easy course. You're gonna need a lot more than that, especially that 4th hole, parring a par 5. I had that one drive before that I 3-putted, so I think probably a 14 to 15 is very achievable the way I played this round. So not too far off top 5 potential, just sometimes you need to have those 25, 40 footers start dropping in to win some of these hard societies. Alright, thanks for listening. Just hit me if you have any questions.